if you're an unproductive person and you can't seem to figure out where you're wasting your time, I think this video is for you. Yeah. Hi, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the book I've been reading recently. So one of the main reasons for creating this channel was to talk about the books that I read, so that I'm forced to read books firstly, and secondly, it's just good to share knowledge with others. So yeah, the book that I've been reading recently is this one. It's a productivity book, and guess what? Only unproductive people read productivity books. And after starting this channel, I didn't really have the time to start a new book, and I was caught up with a lot of other things. And yeah, I told myself that I will be posting a video about a book when I start a new one. So I set this goal that only when I read a new book, I'll post a video about it. So, and I had the time to finally start this book, and I think most of you guys might have already come across this book. This is not going to be an entire book review. I will only be sharing bits and pieces of this book which resonates with me. So yeah. And the funny thing the author told in this book, which I completely agree with, is that only unproductive people read productivity books, and that unproductive person in question is me. So yeah, let's talk about all the habits that make a person unproductive. And the first one on the list is working too much. And you might think, how is this making me unproductive? So the thing is, working too much on some days. For example, let's say you're pulling an all-nighter, working 12 to 14 hours consecutively, let's say 3 days or 10 days. You might think you're being very productive. But the thing is, you get burnt out very quickly if you do that. And then to recover from that, it would take a lot of effort. And if you're someone who has already experienced this, then you would understand it. Like, you get super exhausted that you don't even have the energy to do the basic stuff. So you don't do anything for a week or two because you are burnt out, and now you're rejuvenating yourself and getting back on track. But in reality, it's actually wasting your time. So yeah. The second on the list is worrying too much, and this is for all my overthinking besties out there. This is the author calling us out, because I completely understand and resonate with every single word the author has said under this topic. We waste all our creativity and time in coming up with all these negative scenarios that could possibly happen for a particular situation. And we're always like, what if this goes wrong, what if that goes wrong, what if I lose my job, what if god what if I go broke, what if I lose my job, what if I fail my exam, what if I have a health issue. We are so focused on all the negatives that could happen in our life, when in reality nothing is happening. Like, you're healthy, you're having a job, you've passed your exams, you're having a good time, but you still worry about all the things that could go wrong in your life. And we waste so much time and doing this. And yeah. And the third thing is being stubborn. And I think everyone is stubborn, but the degree of stubbornness varies. And the author himself says that it's good to be stubborn, but you have to choose wisely where you want to be stubborn. Show that stubbornness. You can show it in this way. For example, I don't care what people say about me, I am going to live my life the way I want it. Okay. And the other thing is, you being stubborn when it comes to your relationships and your work life, that isn't going to help you. And the next one on the list is checking stuff. So for example, you just want to check your social media app. Okay, for example, you open Instagram just to check it, but you end up wasting like 3 hours of your time at a stretch. And at the end of the day, your screen time is like 8 hours or 10 hours. Like, that is how it used to be for me. I mean, it is still that way, but we have to consciously do something to reduce this, because you're wasting way too much time scrolling through some reels on Instagram. You cannot completely eliminate this habit. Like, you can't just go and delete all your apps and be like, no, I'm no longer interested in this thing. So that's not possible. And so what the book suggests you is that to list all the topics that you search on a daily basis. For example, it could be your favorite sports team, it could be about politics or about movies and entertainment, whatever. Just list everything and then try to pick two or three out of that 10. Or yeah, out of the 10, try to pick two or three and yeah, spend your time checking them. So you're not completely eliminating the habit, but you're just shrinking the time you invest in it. So the next one on the list is escaping life. When life gets hard and you're stressed out, we're always looking for the easiest way out, right? And the easiest way out is to just ignore it and go on a vacation or spend your money in shopping or whatever that makes you happy. It is, I mean, I kind of agree with it. It does work. It takes your focus off the stressful things and now you're having fun. But the problem still exists. You're just you're just running away from the problem, but the problem still exists. And I know it's difficult to deal with a problem and trying to find the root cause of the problem. And since it's difficult, we often run away from it and we take the easier route, the easier escape, the short term escape from this problem, while this is going to always exist and you have to come back to this at some point again. So the author says that it's better to take your time, do the difficult things and get that sorted first. Try to solve it when it's small and manageable so that you don't end up feeling overwhelmed when it turns into a big mess. And the next one is saying yes. And this one is for all the people pleasers out here. If you're someone who struggles to say no, because first reason, you are scared to say no, second is you don't want to let that person down, then I have bad news for you. Then you're just sabotaging yourself doing this. Saying yes just because you're afraid to say no will cost you so many things. Firstly, you waste your time. Secondly, you lose control of your life. And thirdly, you're letting someone else dictate and decide for you, which is not good. So learn to say a million no's. Only say yes to things that matter and to the things that you actually want to do, not to please others. And next is writing things down. If you're someone who journals and maintains a to-do list every single day, then you're good to go. You are doing great. But we do not write down all the thoughts and tasks and all the random but extremely wonderful ideas which we get in the middle of nowhere. We do not note them down and we end up relying on our brain power to remember them. So when you write things down, you're actually saving your brain power and that can be used for something important. Yeah, being hard on yourself is the next one on the list, and I think we are our biggest critics, and this is good and bad. I mean, it's a good thing when you do it with an intention of making things better and motivating yourself, and it gets super toxic and bad when you do it with an intention of putting yourself down. Learn to celebrate the small wins and the little things around you, because if you have a mindset that I'll only celebrate when I achieve the ultimate prize, then you are going to be disappointed for most of the time, and you're going to be disappointed for the large portion of your life. You will have a hard time finding happiness in your life because you will just spend most of your time being disappointed, and yeah, and you'll feel frustrated. So the next one is neglecting your personal education. And I feel like some of us have this mindset where, and the author himself had this mindset where we're like, oh no, once we're done with college, we're like, okay, I'm done with learning, I don't have to learn anymore. But that is very, very bad. That is actually very bad, because I used to have this mindset as well. I used to be like, okay, now that I'm done with my college and I have a job, I need not learn. But no, that's not how life works. If you want to evolve and grow, you have to learn every single day. Like learning is a continuous process. As many people say, it might sound very cliche. We often hear people saying that learning is a lifelong process, right? And I think it is actually very true. Only when you learn new things every day, I think your life gets interesting and you have the excitement. Next on the list is hating rules. So, as kids, we always had rules for everything, like what to eat, where to go, what to wear. Like, we had rules for everything, and as most people around me, we just couldn't wait to become adults because we thought life would be so much better with no rules and we'll have the time of our lives being adults. I mean, time of our lives. And once we are adults, we're like, no, I don't like it. We have all the freedom in the world and there are no rules holding us back, but we still end up being clueless most of the times because we don't know how to navigate through life because we're all so new to this. We're all so new to facing life, and in times like this, setting up rules for yourself would help you navigate through life a lot better and will save you from going into all the bad directions, and will save you a lot of energy and time. You just make your life a lot more easier if you set some personal rules and follow it. The next reason that you might be unproductive is because you are the one who is setting the rules, right? So if your rules are bad, then you will end up being unproductive. If your rules include activities and tasks which will make you better as a person and will help you grow personally and professionally, then you're good to go. But if your rules are bad in general, if your rules don't profit you and help you grow, then so if your rules are bad, then you'll end up in this big loop of unproductivity. So choose your rules wisely and stick by it. Yes, that's all. And personally, I could relate with all the items listed in this book, and it is very concerning. But but it's time. But it's okay. I know it's hard to get rid of all the habits at once, but let's set a rule for 2024 that we'll get rid of 3 habits which were relatable. Yeah. Bye.